So let me talk about something that is very sensitive for most people. The fact that in Africa we live substandard lives. For the most part, we are not successful, and a lot of people would like to imagine they are doing extremely well. Life is good, but deep down in our hearts, we know that we would like better. We would like our lives to be different, to be better. Okay. So first of all, I have a problem with us in Africa. We don't like to confront difficult subjects because we don't like to offend each other. We like to be nice to each other and not to step on each other's toes. Okay, so but we are not successful, and for most families, in fact, it's been generation after generation. My parents were poor, their parents were poor, and their parents before them, and it's kind of continuing in our family. And there's always a risk, that you might assume that that's how it's meant to be for your family. So let me say first of all that we should not shy away from difficult subjects. We should not shy away from debate, because out of debating and even heated debate, we are able to come out with some solutions. Because when you're challenged on your position about a particular issue, it causes you to think, it causes you to research, it causes you to re-examine your positions, and that would force you then to come out with a better solution to a particular issue. So why are we not successful? And I know that the first thing some people would do here is to say, no, success is relative. What one person defines as success is different to somebody else. And of course, that's true. But I there's one thing we can all agree on, I think, which is that success that does not include the fact that you have enough financial resources to give yourself a standard of living that you want. A success that does not involve you reaching financial freedom, for me, that's not complete success. Because quite simply, what is it? What can you do without money today? How would you be able to rent a house without money? How would you be able to manage even food, to buy food for your family without money? So one thing we have to resolve as Africans is our relationship with money. I think it emanates from our religious affiliations, religious commitments. The fact that predominantly in Africa we are very religious. We acknowledge the existence of God, the existence of the divine. And I don't know, somehow through our teaching, through the way we've been brought up, we are not brought up to really look at money as something that's critical, something that's an important part of our lives. But that's very ironic, because most of us, 90% plus of us, wake up every day to go for work. What are we looking for? It's money. Of course, people want to say, no, I love my work. I am motivated to do the work that I do, and that's important. But at the end of the day, if you weren't getting paid for the work you're doing, would you still wake up and go to the office? That's the question. So money is critical. So for me, without making this into a religious debate, I don't read anywhere in the Bible where Christians should not want to make money. In fact, churches themselves run on the basis of money. What a lot of the programs, in fact, which program in church would you be able to do without money? Because if people didn't bring money to church, you wouldn't even be able to build the church in the first place. You wouldn't be able to be able to pay for power, to pay for water, to pay for everything that makes the church run. So, but I get it. I think the message that sometimes we would like to communicate as churches is to say that people should not love money more than God. Of course, that's abundantly clear. How could you do that? It's not even possible to love money more than God. But God is not against money. First of all, it's God that created it. But when you look at the process of creating money, the process of generating money, how do you become, or how do you come to possess money? How do you make money? There's only one way to make money, and that is to provide something of value, something that other people need, something that other people use. So they get it from you, whether it's a service or it's a product, and in exchange for that, they hand you the money. So the process of getting money, of making money itself, is actually a spiritual activity. Because, as I'm saying, the only way to make money is to serve other people. So the work that we do at our various places of work, the businesses that we run, the products that we provide, the services that we provide, we should look at those as the means that we are using to serve other people. And service to other people is what spirituality is concerned with. That's what spirituality is about. Yes, I believe in prayer, I believe in meditation, I believe in communicating with God, but at the end of the day, the Bible itself questions our genuineness in saying that we are following God when we neglect other people, when we don't serve other people. God says that cannot count for anything. You're not really going to claim that you love God whom you've not seen and neglect the brother that lives with you. That's what James says. You can't do it. So the process of making money requires you to serve other people. That is spiritual. So there's no contradiction. Money is not evil. Even the Bible speaks about the love of money is the root of all evil. It is just the root. It can cause you to commit evil if you love money excessively. It's a root. It's not even evil itself. It's a root of evil. So it's absolutely critical that we begin to redefine our relationship with money. And the point is this, because why are we not making enough money in Africa as individuals, as companies, and even as countries? It's this negative attitude that we have, because if we are negatively disposed towards money, then it's less likely that we are going to create it, because we are negative about it. It's like we actually don't like it. We don't like money, but somehow we have to have it. That's why we don't have a lot of it. It's our attitude towards it. So I think that as a Christian community in Zambia, we need to clean up our attitude towards money. We need to revise our attitude towards money. It should not be uncomfortable to talk about money in church. It shouldn't be. And I'm talking about during service, during worship, we ought to talk about money. Because money, as I've said, affects everything that we do. In fact, it's my argument that even the work of, for example, evangelizing, the work of going out to bring other people to Christ, we cannot do that work properly without money. just going out requires you to buy fuel. It requires you to have materials that you're going to share with people. But for me, we actually need money to help those people out there. It's James again who says you can't find a person and just wish them well and just wish that they could become spiritual when they are dealing with problems of lack of shelter, when they don't have clothing, they don't have food, they don't have housing. You must deal with those issues even before you're going to talk to them about God and the need for them to give their lives to God. It's important people give their lives to God, because really, if your life is not guided by the principles of God, you're not likely to have direction in your life. You're not likely to even reach the fullest potential that God intended for you to reach. It's very simple. God created us. He is the one that knows our full capacities, our full potential. And so when we open our minds to His guidance, when we open our hearts for Him to lead us, then we discover exactly the height to which we are supposed to aspire. We discover exactly how He intended for us to live our lives so that we can express our creativity, so that we can achieve the highest form of success. It's God that makes that happen. So absolutely important for people to give their lives to God. My point is that people who have issues about bread and butter are less likely to even understand the message of salvation that you're trying to preach to them, because they are concerned about paying school fees for their children. They're concerned about a meal. They're concerned about shelter. They're concerned about rentals. They're concerned about even clothing and the things that are just important in life. So when we have money and we go out to talk to people and we find they have these problems, we then can use the money to attend to those issues. And you know, I don't know what people think about it, but I see that was exactly Jesus' approach. Why would Jesus, if all He wanted was to get people to heaven, if all He wanted was for people to give their lives to God, why would He bother to heal people, for example? Why would Jesus bother to debate with the Pharisees about, the fact that the disciples at one point entered the temple and ate food from there that was meant for priests and things like that? Why would Jesus, be bothered to bring the dead back to life, if in fact His preoccupation was simply for people to get to heaven? Okay? It is simple. And I think that, again, it's very clear from His ministry that a lot of people followed Him when they had benefited and when they had received help from Jesus with their temporal situation, their temporal issues. When Jesus resolved problems for them, they were then in a position to hear His message and to accept it and to let that message actually influence them and help them to move forward. So, I don't know if I have done enough to persuade people to actually think about money and wealth as something that's positive, as something that's not contradictory with a life of faith, with a spiritual life. There's absolutely no contradiction, because for me, there's even no debate. There's no requirement at all to compare money and God. Of course, the Bible says, you ought not to love mammon more than God. That's very clear. But the Bible is not implying that, therefore, money is not important and that we should not pursue it. We should pursue it. All right? And like I've already said, pursuing money for me means that we're going to do are the things that are necessary to make the money. And the things that are necessary to make the money is that we provide the goods and the services that people need, that people want. And in exchange of which, they pay us the money. That's the way to get the money. You know,